3 days before our wedding, Lucas and I were supposed to be finalizing preparations. Tonight was his bachelor party thrown by childhood friends. A sudden midnight storm brought me to collect him, only to overhear Zoe, the adopted sister from his foster family, pleading through the door, "Lucas. Mom's cancer, her last wish is to see us married." His buddies chimed in like a rehearsed chorus. "You owe the Quinns everything. Man. Where would you be without them? It's just a ceremony. Any decent woman would understand. You and Zoe are practically family already. Do the right thing." Lucas didn't commit verbally, but I heard his phone dialing. "Jess and I have the venue booked all day. Right? Schedule Zoe's ceremony at noon before ours tonight. Make it happen." The door clicked shut under my trembling hand. My father's advice echoed, infidelity discovered pre-wedding should be celebrated like dodging bullets. 3 days. Enough to unravel 7 years. My breath hitched when Lucas handed Zoe his water glass. Voice dripping with performative chivalry, "Relax. It's nothing." Raucous laughter erupted. "Told you he'd step up. They've been inseparable since diapers anyway. Zoe baby. Stop crying. Lucas'll fix everything." Zoe sniffled theatrically before molding herself against Lucas' chest. "But shouldn't we inform Jess first? To avoid misunderstandings?" The crowd hooted. "Smart girl. Call your fiancé over. Sullivan." Lucas' chuckle vibrated through the door. "Jess is reasonable. She'll get it." 30 minutes later, I sat shell-shocked beside my fiancé as Zoe raised her martini. To Jess, every bit as understanding as Lucas promised. Her smirk lingered as she drained the glass. The room waited. My tongue felt leaden. "You're marrying her first? Same day? Same venue?" Zoe's pout turned venomous. "I know this hurts, but it's Mom's dying wish. You wouldn't want Lucas branded ungrateful, would you?" I met her tearless gaze. "No cousins? Colleagues? Exes? Just my future husband?" Lucas' champagne flute clinked sharply. "Jess. We're not legally married yet." "Aw. So you'll play single man for her?" His frat brother Gavin shouldered between us. "Come on, Jess. Don't make this weird. We're all family here. Are you married, Gavin? Single? Why not volunteer as groom?" The room iced over. Gavin slammed his drink. "Don't compare me to Lucas. You're lucky he's even." Crystal shattered as Lucas' Bordeaux goblet hit the floor, staining my ivory white Hermes bag crimson. This handbag was the first gift Lucas ever gave me. He picked it out himself from the boutique after earning his first pot of gold. His brows furrowed like they could crush a fly as he said, "Jess. Without the Quinn family, I might have grown up in an orphanage. This debt of gratitude must be repaid. As for the venue, Aunt Quinn's condition is critical and it's peak wedding season. Borrowing our reserved ballroom for their morning ceremony makes sense since ours is at night. It's called resource optimization. Understand?" Staring at Lucas, I suddenly saw a stranger. The boy who confessed to me during freshman orientation. The graduate who worked 3 jobs to build us a home. The man who weathered countless late nights promising to be my rock. Now he'd agreed to marry another girl first. The private room's air turned suffocating. I excused myself, only realizing I'd forgotten my purse at the elevator. Returning, I overheard through the door, "Lucas. No offense, but Jess's temper's nothing like Zoe's grace. If not for those misunderstandings back then, you and Zoe would have been perfect, the golden couple. Rumor has it you only pursued Jess because she resembled Zoe? Resemble? Zoe's all gentle warmth. If Zoe were your wife, she'd outshine Jess 10,000-fold. Plus Jess hasn't worked since graduation, just plays housewife while you grind. Face it. Jess can't host dinners or cook. Why not make things real with Zoe? Jess is clearly wife material." Amid the onslaught, Lucas finally snapped. "Enough. Zoe's honeyed voice intervened. Everyone. Stop. Lucas has a tender heart. Miss Wilson's depended on him for years without real survival skills. Even without love. He'd never abandon her. Depended on a man? No love? I clenched my fists. Nails biting palms. After what seemed an eternity, Lucas spoke again. Weary resignation lacing his baritone, ancient history. Zoe deserves brighter horizons. Brighter horizons. Such lofty aspirations. Humiliation flooded my veins as I turned to leave, missing Zoe's parting shot. Lucas always treats me special. Maybe without those misunderstandings, there'd be no Miss Wilson. We wouldn't need to feel guilty. His chuckle vibrated through the door. Zoe. Enough. Jess has been with me since we were teens. Supported my 6-year entrepreneurial grind. I wanted her home waiting for me after work. The wedding's just ceremonial for Aunt Quinn's sake. Let's drop this. Zoe paled as the room froze. Childhood friends rushed to mediate. We know you honor Jess's loyalty. Lucas. Tears trembled in Zoe's voice. I shouldn't have spoken out of turn. When you fought last week and she refused to compromise. I just hurt for you. Lucas merely frowned. The creases deeper than when calculating business risks. Last chance. The words sounded like a reprimand. Yet his tone remained gentle and resigned. Fighting nausea. I stumbled downstairs. Outside, the rain fell thinly while the wind howled mercilessly. Every word from that private room haunted me, resurrecting memories that clawed at my consciousness. Jess. Thank you for choosing me. When I save enough, I'll give you a wedding so grand the world will witness our love. Jess. Join my startup. I'll never let you down. Jess. I'm exhausted, but having you here makes it bearable. Jess. Jess. The recollections evaporated as thunder cracked across the sky, sending fresh sheets of rain slanting downward. Who knew thunder could chill one to the bone? Trapped under the cafe awning with other rain-soaked strangers. I fumbled through my bag for car keys. My phone buzzed. Lucas's message glowed. Where'd you go? Forgot your bag? The guys are wasted, gotta drive them home. Had my assistant handle the venue issue. Let's keep this from your family. Okay? You understand the Quinns saved me back then. Zoe wouldn't ask unless desperate. Don't take it personally. I locked my screen, watching taillights bleed into a crimson river through the downpour. Bile rose as my knees buckled. A stranger steadied me. Ma'am, you all right? After thanking them, I texted Lucas, leave bag at front desk. Hours later, drizzle replaced the storm as I retrieved my purse. I wandered aimlessly through the mist, each step retracing 7 years. When graduation came, my father wanted me at Oxford. I chose local grad school instead, for Lucas. Dad's warning still stung, don't come crying when you regret this. Few knew my mother died when I was 8. Overnight, my prominent father became the hottest bachelor in town. Stepmothers cycled through our mansion like seasonal decor. No wonder I clung desperately to Lucas. Dad froze my trust fund to break us up. We survived on instant noodles in a basement apartment so damp our breath fogged year-round. Lucas trembled while holding me those nights, vowing with religious fervor, we'll have our golden days. Jess. I swear it. Until today, I'd believed him. And truthfully, he delivered. During startup days, I juggled grad seminars with being his jack of all trades, secretary, buyer, crisis manager. I even swallowed pride to beg Dad for business favors. The company flourished. 3 months ago, I said yes to his proposal, flying to D.C. to convince Grandpa and Uncle Martin to endorse Lucas felt necessary. Their refusal stung, but I returned certain they'd misjudged him. Lucas wasn't some social climber. Except now. Raindrops mingled with salt on my lips as reality crystallized. The man who'd kept me warm in that frigid basement had built his empire using my family's connections, only to prioritize the Quinns when it mattered. Zoe's whispered plea in that private room echoed louder than any thunder. Lucas, you owe my family this. My engagement ring caught the streetlight's glare as I texted 2 words, we're done. The downpour couldn't wash away 7 years. But at least it hid the evidence as I hailed a cab toward Wilson Manor. He's a high potential stock. An ambitious young man. When I shared these thoughts with my best friend Lynn, she promptly smacked the back of my head. Sweetheart, you're the heiress holding the family trust fund. The ultimate catch. Yeah, I hold the trust fund. Screw being someone's replacement. If I say I'm done being the backup, then I'm done. Cold raindrops mixed with tears soaked through my clothes. My phone vibrated again, Lucas. But the person in the video wasn't him. The clip ended with a gut punch caption, if I were you, I'd feel like a third wheel. On the hotel sofa, Zoe nestled against Lucas. Her gaze sultry. Lucas, what should I do? How do I handle this? Lucas stroked her hair tenderly, each motion dripping with affection. Don't worry. I'll stay by your side. We'll fix this together. But you're getting married. You'll belong to another woman. Zoe nuzzled his neck provocatively. Once you have her, you'll forget me. You'll stop caring. You'll find me annoying. You'll abandon me. Lucas' chest heaved. His free hand clenched into a fist. Yet he didn't push her away. Pedestrians flowed past under umbrellas. Only I walked through the downpour, drenched and hoping for the rain to stop. Time loops. Storms persist. It wasn't until I stepped into the deluge that I realized getting wet wasn't the worst part. The real tragedy was waiting under shelter for someone who'd never come, hoping for an umbrella that'd never tilt my way. When I'd had enough of the rain, I returned to my car and called Lynn. The wedding venue was one of her family's properties. Lynn, cancel the banquet hall. I'm calling off the wedding. Calling it off? My voice caught. Yeah. Lucas, that jerk wants to marry someone else first and keep me as his backup plan. The absurdity left Lynn speechless for a full minute. Where are you? I'm coming. Her diamond-encrusted Aston Martin screeched to a halt beside me within 20 minutes. Lynn barely closed her door before erupting. I knew it. Lucas is a gold-digging pretty boy riding coattails. And you, lowering your standards to chase him? What's so great about some small-town climber besides his looks? I reflexively defended him. He's thoughtful. Lynn's temper flared. Don't tell me you're referring to him bringing you hot water during your period, taking bus rides to street food stalls in summer heat, or only dining out on weekdays to use coupons? Girl, raise your bar. What does that loser have to make a trust fund princess like you swoon? Since when do you fall for cheap tricks? Were you that starved for affection? I sniffled. Maybe. My mom died before first grade. Dad's always been too busy dating. Yeah. I'm affection-starved. Lynn groaned. Fine. Let's find you some love. Come on, I'll get you 10 male models. Adorable puppies who'll dote on you 24/7. I grimaced. They just love my money. She rolled her eyes hard enough to see her brain. So what if it's just money? Honey, I've got plenty to burn. If loving money isn't love, then call me a gold digger in paradise. I twirled my cocktail straw, the ice cubes clinking like tiny champagne flutes. Lynn was right, throw enough cash around and those gym rat twinks would carve out their hearts with butter knives for you. The morning after my male escort club bender, I FaceTimed Dad. My usually theatrical father stayed eerily calm hearing about Lucas' betrayal. Sweetheart, he said, eyes glinting like Wall Street trading floors. Consider this pre-wedding infidelity your golden parachute. Bail out now. True to form, Lucas hadn't called. Too busy playing Florence Nightingale to his precious childhood friend Zoe. Let him spoon-feed her chicken soup while I plotted my exit. The hangover hadn't even kicked in when Wilson Enterprises HR called. The board wanted me in Paris yesterday, flight booked for tomorrow. My wedding day. Back at Lucas McMansion. I packed like Marie Kondo on amphetamines. Years of shared memories condensed into one Rimowa suitcase. Call me fastidious. But once something's tainted, I toss it. People included. Cravings hit as I passed the mall's jewelry wing. There stood Lucas. Credit card gleaming brighter than the display cases. Get whatever you want. Zoe. He crooned. Don't worry about the cost. The waifish brunette bit her lip. But Lucas, this fake marriage, these are too much. Relax. He laughed. Signaling the salesgirl. Jess isn't picky. We'll reuse everything for our real wedding anyway. The snort escaped before I could stop it. Jess. Lucas spun. Panic flashing. What are you? Pickles craving. I lied. Patting my food baby belly. He recovered smoothly. Hand reaching for my hair. You should have called. I'd never let my wife. My gaze slid to Zoe trying on 3-carat rocks. Need help with wedding prep? Actually, he flashed his boardroom smile. Could you book Zoe's bridal appointment? Since you know the good places. Can't. I stepped back. My gown's been in production for years. Mom designed it before, my throat tightened. They don't do rush jobs. Zoe's head whipped up. Years? That's ridiculous. Her laugh tinkled fake as cubic zirconia. What bride plans that far ahead? Unless, her eyes narrowed. Were you desperate to trap him? The security guard approached as my palm connected with her cheek. Lucas' shout echoed off the Cartier cases. Zoe's dramatic stumble sent diamond bands scattering like confetti. Best. Wedding. Present. Ever. No. I won't marry. Lucas frowned slightly. Jess. What are you talking about? I met his gaze squarely. I said I'm not desperate to get married. Never was. And certainly not now. Lucas looked perplexed. Searching my face for any sign of deception. He found none. Zoe glanced up at my words. Locking eyes with me defiantly. Then I'll thank Miss Wilson for her graciousness. Her tone dripped with faux gratitude. Every syllable oozing entitlement. I couldn't be bothered to engage. Making excuses to slip away. I have afternoon tea plans with my best friend. I announced. Already heading for the door. Everything was set until I remembered my passport in Lucas' study. The elevator doors opened to reveal luggage barricading the penthouse entrance. Inside. Zoe buzzed around arranging decor. That glaring red double happiness character on the door stinging my eyes. Our wedding photos lay discarded on the marble floor. My apologies. Zoe said without an ounce of sincerity. Her smirk contradicting the words. I assumed you didn't live here anymore. I stared at the shattered glass over our matching white shirts and the ruined portrait. So because I don't reside here, you get to trash our memories? She huffed impatiently. As if I'd interrupted something sacred. Miss Wilson. This is just a paper marriage. Must you be so dramatic? These photos could raise suspicions with the elders. Her fingers deliberately loosened, sending another frame crashing. Crash. Oh dear. She simpered. How clumsy of me. Footsteps rushed in as Lucas' childhood friends froze mid-chatter. Sis-in-law? One stammered. Lucas said we could let ourselves in village traditions. You know? The elders want to bless the new nest before the wedding. I surveyed these moochers disguised as wedding guests. Suddenly pitying Lucas. Tell me. Zoe. I leaned against the fractured glass shards. If Lucas were still that broke college student, would you be staging this charade? Would your mother still approve? The room plunged into silence sharp enough to slice through the tension. You mocked him for his patched jeans and instant noodle diet. I continued. Now you're the martyr sacrificing for your dying mother? How convenient. Zoe's lip trembled theatrically. You're cruel. I'm doing this to fulfill Mama's last wish. Fat tears splattered her designer blouse. What's your problem, Jess? A crony stepped forward. Lucas already promised a quick divorce after the ceremony. Jealous much? My breath caught. Divorce? They're already. You didn't know? The lackey feigned surprise. Zoe's mom demanded to see the marriage certificate. Can't exactly Photoshop government documents. Can we? The grandfather clock's pendulum swung like my spiraling thoughts. Outside, Manhattan skyline blurred as Zoe's muffled sobs filled the penthouse where Lucas had first kissed me back when we believed in forever. But don't worry. Lucas had already scheduled the divorce right after the wedding ceremony. See? We even got the waiting period appointment booked. Getting the marriage license and holding the ceremony, this charade couldn't be more elaborate. Gavin sneered at me. What makes you so special, Jess? Lucas's company is about to go public. You should be kissing his feet for marrying a nobody like you. He scoffed. Oh, I get it. You big city folks look down on our small town people? Quit making trouble. Back home, we take care of our own. When Zoe's in trouble, we don't just stand by. You're getting the deal of the century here. Quit your bitching. I couldn't help but snort. What deal? Who am I inconveniencing? Aren't I the only victim in this shit show? Is this how your hometown takes care of its own, helping some homewrecker steal another woman's fiancé? Lucas cut me off coldly before I could finish. That's enough. Jess. These are my childhood friends. His disapproving glare accused me of overreacting. It's just taking down some photos for 2 days and putting them back up. You agreed to help. Why start drama now? Emboldened by his support, Gavin shouted louder, exactly. If it weren't for Zoe, Lucas would have never looked twice at you. It hit me like a ton of bricks. I stared directly at Lucas. Am I just her replacement? The pain cut deep despite my preparation. Spring sunlight flooded our marital home, yet I felt plunged into icy darkness, trembling uncontrollably. How vile, to realize you've entrusted your heart to the wrong person. Lucas avoided my gaze. Jess. I don't want to fight. You're being irrational right now. I retrieved my passport from the study. Irrational my ass. I'm done playing house with you. That evening, Lucas video called after finalizing arrangements. His handsome face filled the screen, breaking into a smile when I answered. Still mad? Setting aside branch office documents. I looked down and shook my head, rubbing his temples. Lucas appeared exhausted. Jess. I'm sorry I've been distant lately. The IPO's draining me. Why did you clear out your things from the closet and vanity? I met his gaze innocently. Didn't your precious Zoe commit to the role by removing them? He faltered momentarily. Well, I'll buy you newer, better replacements. His dismissiveness turned my stomach. Don't bother. Why not? Lucas frowned. You've only had that one Hermes bag for years. When he spoke again, his tone softened into coaxing. Come on. Let me get you a new one. What color? I finally laughed bitterly. Oh Lucas, carrying that Hermes canvas bag for too long really gets old. His gaze slowly drifted toward the walk-in closet in my room. Where are you? Why is every shelf packed with bags? Who bought these for you? I'm home. Those? Oh. Dad sent them over. Haven't worn most in ages, they're practically collecting dust. Lucas visibly relaxed. Good. Tell our father not to worry, I'll take care of you from now on. Take care of me? What a vile curse. The thought made me shiver. Before ending the video call, I casually mentioned, I've arranged to have our wedding photos stored at their facility. The truth was I'd paid someone to burn them. Lucas agreed without suspicion before rushing off to plan his sham ceremony. Days later, Lynn called buzzing with gossip. Jess. Lucas came begging to alter the wedding program. Listen to this, I told him the ballrooms were all booked and moved his pathetic show to the side parlor. You're going to love the chaos. Her chuckle turned wicked. He picked the wrong woman to mess with. On the wedding morning, I arrived at the airport before dawn. Security lines crawled as anonymous texts flooded my phone. Zoe's dress is tacky influencer bait. Sorry, MS. Wilson. But I'll be walking down the aisle with Lucas first. The wedding's fake. But his feelings for me? 100% real. Must sting that everyone pities you, all those degrees yet content to leech off men. Oh. And Lucas mentioned your mother's dead. Explains why you disrespected daughter's sacred duty to her parents' wishes. I'd planned to ignore the taunts until that last barb struck bone. You dropped out sophomore year to marry your classmate's 57-year-old father. If we're discussing aisle experience, you're the reigning expert. Zoe's sordid history required zero research, the whole county knew. This morality preacher had become her classmate's stepmom for money, only to discover the old man's assets were locked in family trusts. When his daughter started sabotaging her, the marriage imploded within 18 months. Bitch. Think you're clever? One word from me and Lucas dumps you. If you're so powerful, why beg for my attention? Go play with your puppet groom. The sudden radio silence painted her rage beautifully. May you and Lucas rot together forever. I next heard Lucas' name while scouting locations for our southern France expansion. Lynn's voice vibrated with barely contained glee. After your flight took off, your dad threw this massive welcome home gala next door to the wedding. Guests came for chicken dinners and got front row drama instead. Mediterranean sunlight stung my eyes as I laughed. You're holding back. Spill. Your father and uncle accidentally sent your dowry crates to Lucas' sad little parlor. When they cracked those lids, my God. Jess, the cash stacks. Jewelry boxes. Property deeds? More money than most will see in lifetimes. Lucas looked ready to faint, then your family's lawyer took one look at Zoe and yelled, "That's not our heiress." Security dragged every last diamond box out of his shaking hands. Her words tumbled faster. Right then, we played your evidence reel on the projection screens, texts, receipts, voice recordings. The crowd went nuclear. Photographers trampled floral arrangements. Zoe's father started screaming about breach of contract. Best part? 3 investors pulled out of Sullivan Ventures before the cake cutting. I watched seagulls circle the Marseille harbor. Salt wind wiping away the last traces of that old life. Some curses. It turned out. Boomeranged. The banquet hall fell into stunned silence after the video played. Was this really Lucas' bride? The resemblance was uncanny yet different. Now everyone knew the truth, it wasn't her at all. One of Lucas' original business partners finally snapped. This is insane. I've wanted to say it for years, that woman was never our real first lady. Do you realize who Jess is? The sole heiress to the Wilson fortune in Shanghai. The beloved granddaughter of the Yao dynasty in Beijing. And this fool wasn't satisfied? Exactly. Another guest muttered. Any man would consider himself blessed to marry into that family. Lucas could have retired on golden pillows for life. Wait. A third chimed in. Didn't the Sullivan Group's entire operation depend on Wilson investments? So basically, he's been mooching off her fortune this whole time? Laughter erupted. A moocher with attitude? Trying to have his cake and eat it too? Does he think we're all idiots? The crowd buzzed with disdain. Pathetic. No integrity whatsoever. Next door. The Wilson family's VIP celebration spilled into the hallway. Chairman Wilson's voice boomed through the sound system. Thank you for celebrating my daughter's homecoming. Effective today. Jess officially assumes leadership of our family enterprises. Applause thundered through the building. Lucas suddenly charged through the crowd like a madman, only to be tackled by security at the Wilson ballroom entrance. Jess. Baby. Let me explain. Mr. Wilson. Sir. There were extenuating circumstances. The Wilson doors remained sealed. Chairman Wilson's amplified voice continued, "I know you're all curious about my daughter's romantic history." Yes. She encountered some unfavorable characters. But she's reclaimed her life with grace. As her father, I'm proud to provide the safety net every woman deserves. With our family's support, Jess' future shines bright. Remember this: discovering betrayal before marriage calls for celebration. Raise your glasses to strong women everywhere. Meanwhile, Lucas' phone blared with disaster. The Beijing deal collapsed. They're suing for breach of contract unless we pay full penalties immediately. What? They promised flexibility. Lucas roared. Not since yesterday. Now they're playing hardball. Lucas froze mid-rant. Suddenly remembering the guest's whispers, Jess, Shanghai royalty. Beijing blue blood. I nearly choked on my champagne laughing. Lynn squeezed my hand. Hearing you laugh again, what a relief. I worried you might still care. I gazed at the ocean view. Care? I'm finally breathing free. Who knew ditching dead weight felt this amazing? When Lucas stumbled home, the wedding decorations still mocked him. Zoe stood in the foyer like she owned the place. Those Wilsons are bullies. Picking on. Don't touch me. Lucas shoved her away violently. Zoe crashed into the sofa, spilling her handbag. A medical report fluttered outdated 1 week prior, the exact day Lucas had announced his engagement to Jess. Zoe scrambled for the papers. County hospital messed up. Mom just has ulcers. Not cancer. Crazy. Right? Lucas stared hollowly. You lied. His voice turned arctic. This was all your scheme, wasn't it? Lucas! I yanked Zoe toward me, my bloodshot eyes glaring. Divorce. I want a divorce right now. Where the hell are we supposed to go at this hour? The city hall isn't even open. She protested. Calm down. I can't calm down. I won't. Zoe flipped her hair. That practiced allure dripping from every pore. Lucas. Don't you see this is fate? We're legally married now. Why not make this work? Your mother finally approves of me. I've loved you since we were kids. Lucas. Doesn't that mean anything? Her words froze me momentarily. Sensing weakness, Zoe wrapped her arms around my waist from behind. I'll be the perfect wife. Manage our home. Support your business ventures. You'll never want for anything. I jerked away like scalded, lips trembling before the words tore loose. You tricked me into this marriage. Some people just can't leave well enough alone. That morning, both the Wilson family's PR team and Lynn forwarded me the same viral video. Zoe, realizing I'd witnessed Lucas begging me for reconciliation, had gone nuclear. Her carefully edited montage showed childhood sweethearts strolling country lanes, biking through sun-dappled summers, culminating in their wedding photos, a masterclass in manipulating public perception. The video's second act featured Zoe's tear-streaked confession, "Our love was pure until college," when a wealthy, obsessive socialite threatened to ruin Lucas unless he surrendered to her. Ms. Wilson, I beg you, stop destroying our lives with your dirty tactics. The finale zoomed in on Zoe's trembling lips and my poorly pixelated face. The internet erupted. Strangers flooded my socials. Homewrecker. Who forces men into relationships these days? But the tide turned when insiders exposed the truth. Reliable source, the socialite bankrolled her boyfriend's startup. Then his childhood friend faked her mother's terminal illness to guilt-trip him into marriage. Dumbass actually planned dual weddings, morning ceremony with the schemer. Afternoon vows with his benefactor. Comments, double weddings? Is he insane? Was the mom really sick? Saw that hag at Whole Foods last week, healthier than me. Total honey trap. Is the heiress really taking him back? Nah. She's prepping to take over Wilson Corp's regional branch. Zoe panicked. Accidentally replying from her burner account, business shouldn't mix with personal vendettas. Bullying small companies is low. Replies, says the woman who scammed her way into marriage. If my daughter got screwed over like this, I'd grind those cheaters to dust. Hey look, the snake outed herself. Through my office blinds, I watched Lucas hand Zoe a glass of water. His pity transparent. The fallout was swift. Businesses that once tolerated Lucas' company, hoping my lingering affection might mean Wilson family support, cut ties completely. The Wilsons and Quinns issued joint blacklist notices. Within weeks, Lucas Sullivan Enterprises became untouchable in every major market. I focused on restructuring our Midwest division. 6 months later, during my corporate review, breaking news interrupted. Couple critically injured in post-divorce road rage collision. Sources say Lucas and Zoe may not survive. The boardroom screens showed twisted metal and bloodied asphalt. Before I could process it, the chairman tapped his pen. MS. Wilson? Your expansion projections. Please. The reports I submit cover a wide range of topics. Managing the branch office isn't easy, but I maintain my sharp focus and relentless drive. I'm not afraid of failure, and I'll always have the courage to get back up and fight again. Life's like this endless river, there'll always be currents that lift you up and others that pull you under. But I firmly believe that after weathering the storm, even the rising tide will bring its own powerful surge. Something magnificent to behold.